Do you know this miracle in American history? Don't shoot until you see the whites of their eyes was the order given June 17, 1775 by Colonel William Prescott. He was commanding the troops on Breed's Hill, adjacent Bunker Hill, which guarded the north entrance to Boston's harbor. Providentially for the Americans, this being the first naval engagement of the war, the British had the wrong size cannonballs on their ships and therefore were unable to effectively bombard the American position. British General William Howe had to disembark 2,300 British soldiers and charge them up the hill with bayonets fixed. Twice the Americans repelled them, forcing them back down the hill until the Americans ran out of gunpowder. The British then took the hill and burned the nearby town of Charleston. In this first action of the war, the Continental Army saw over 1,000 British casualties and nearly 500 American deaths. The same day, 300 miles away in Philadelphia, the Continental Congress drafted George Washington's commission as commander-in-chief, for which he refused a salary. Washington wrote to his wife Martha, "Dearest, it has been determined in Congress that the whole army raised for the defense of the American cause shall be put under my care, and that it is necessary for me to proceed immediately to Boston to take command. I shall rely, therefore, confidently on that providence which has heretofore preserved and been bountiful to me. I got Colonel Pendleton to draft a will. The provision made for you in case of my death will, I hope, be agreeable." General Washington rode to Boston and took command. Shortly after, Georgia's Provincial Congress passed a motion, July 5, 1775, that this Congress apply to His Excellency the Governor, requesting him to appoint a day of fasting and prayer throughout this province on account of the disputes subsisting between America and the parent state. On July 7th of 1775, Georgia's provincial governor replied, "Gentlemen, I have taken the request made by a provincial Congress, and I must premise that I cannot consider that Congress meeting as constitutional. But as the request is expressed in such loyal and dutiful terms, and the ends proposed being such as every good man must ardently wish for, I will certainly appoint a day of fasting and prayer to be observed throughout this province." Signed, James Wright. Of the Continental Congress passing a public day of humiliation, fasting, and prayer, John Adams wrote to his wife, Abigail, July 12, 1775, "We have appointed a continental fast. Millions will be upon their knees at once before their great Creator, imploring His forgiveness and blessing, His smiles on the American consul in arms." On July 19th of 1775, the journals of the Continental Congress recorded, "Agreed that the Congress meet here tomorrow morning at half after 9 o'clock in order to attend divine service at Mr. DUCHE'S church, and that in the afternoon they meet here to go from this place and attend divine service at Dr. Allison's church." As the Revolutionary War began, Connecticut Governor Jonathan Trumbull wrote to George Washington, July 13th, 1775, "The Honorable Congress have proclaimed a fast to be observed by the inhabitants of all the English colonies on this continent, to stand before the Lord in one day with public humiliation, fasting, and prayer, to deplore our many sins, to offer up our joint supplications to God, that they have appointed you to the high station you possess. The Supreme Director of all events hath caused a wonderful union of hearts and counsels to subsist. Now, therefore, be strong and very courageous. May the God of the armies of Israel shower down the blessings of His divine providence on you, give you wisdom and fortitude, cover your head in the day of battle and danger, add success, convince our enemies of their mistaken measures." Well, this was our country, America, crying out to God in time of crises. And it's important for us to remember these miracles in American history.